Skeletons living in my chest. I feel my feelings way too strong. Wish that you could turn a heart off. Made of glass and they always crack. I wish that I could make it stop. Wish that you could turn a heart off. Think I'm tired of being broken. Thinking love is just a waste of time. The higher that I'm hoping, the quicker that I fall. And I guess I want it to be easy, but it's never ever easy. I always end up let down. Take all my love, this is tragic. I could replace it with plastic. Think maybe then I'd be fine. All these skeletons living in my chest. I feel my feelings way too strong. Wish that you could turn a heart off. Made of glass and they always crack. I wish that I could make it stop. Wish that you could turn a heart off. Over all of these emotions, getting dizzy, roller coaster ride. Lock the door and keep it closed, yeah. Better off if I just stay inside. Cause I want it to be easy, but it's never really easy falling till I'm.
All right. We are on the life and health show. Look at that. We are on the life and health show today, and we welcome you all to the live show today on our channel, Dr. Oteng's channel. Today we have another interesting show. If you have seen a thumbnail, you probably know what we are going to be talking about. But suffice to say that it's an interesting one. Plant-based diet. We're going to be talking about something like that. And without wasting not much time, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what it is that we're going to be talking about. As you can tell, it is the topic of our, or the title for this episode number 8 is the key benefits of a plant-based diet, especially on your heart and brain. So we, as you well know, we want to have a healthy heart and healthy brain devoid of heart attacks, heart disease, and strokes. So what's up with plant-based diets? It's a lot of noise going on about plant-based diet. Some people actually going full vegetarian. Is it anything good? We're going to use this show to talk about the key benefits of a plant-based diet. Not necessarily trying to tell you to go eat or be a plant, full plant vegetarian, but at least we're going to be talking about the benefits. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, so it's more like incorporating more plant-based foods, right, into your diet. So you may not be full-blown vegetarian, but you can incorporate plant-based food in your diet. And that, if you do it that way, you're also going to benefit from people that are fully vegetarian.
Definitely. You're going to benefit. The food benefits are there still, even if you're not a vegetarian. So don't think we're going to tell you to stop eating your meat. No. You can eat your meat and eat your fish and everything else.
Eat your eggs.
Eat your eggs and everything. But the point is, we want to replace most of the starches with plant-based options. Plant-based dietary, substances that would basically make you healthier overall, even if you still eat your meat and your fish and your eggs, which is still good for some people. So with that being said, if you also want to, take it to the next level and be a vegetarian, even much better. Some people, there's a ton of benefits of, on becoming a full vegetarian. But if that's not your thing, that's fine. If it is your thing, we would encourage you to do it, because we cannot, we cannot overemphasize the benefits of eating a whole plant diet without any other thing. So yes, that is our show for today. If you are joining us, we want to welcome you, and we ask that you share the stream so that other people would also benefit. But definitely, that is what we are going to be talking about. With that being said, as we start, we know we've been on season number 6, which we are still doing. This is episode 8, right, of season 6. And on this season, we are definitely talking about stroke, how to prevent strokes and heart attacks. So quickly, we'll go over a little bit of stats about stroke, and I will say that stroke is one of the top leading cause of death in a lot of places, including the United States, where we are. Stroke kills a lot of women and men. It used to be the disease of the older folks, but for now, it is slowly creeping into people in their 40s, 30s, and 50s. And so it's no more the disease of the old folks because of our lifestyle and the way we eat. Every 3 minutes, 3 minutes, 14 seconds to be precise, somebody dies of a stroke. And every 45 seconds, somebody also gets a stroke, which is a big deal. Come on, man. It is a big deal. Big deal on the negative side, but suffice to say, because of that, we have to keep talking about it. It's not something, that is, good to talk about, but we will continue to hammer it until you change your lifestyle so that you don't get it, because that's why we are here. We want to help you live a better, healthier, and longer life. You have anything to add to that?
Okay.
All right. So with that being said on the stroke, we are going to go straight into our presentation. And those of you watching from YouTube, you can see that we are going to be showing you some slides. So if you want to join us on YouTube, if you are watching from TikTok, it's just the same name, DROTENG, and just scroll to our live show, and you'll find this show as well as other past shows that we have had. And if you're watching for the first time, do us the honor to do us the follow. If you're watching from YouTube, subscribe. Watching from LinkedIn, follow, like, share, all the other YouTube stuff. Thank you. All right, so let's move on, right? Do we? All right, so with that being said, we're going to move on to our slides. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is our outline. And you want to start off with the outline?
Yeah, the first thing we will talk about what benefits do we get from plants that will help us, or what things in plants that help us lower LDL.
Or how they even do
How
that,
they
right?
do that. And we also continue with reducing the plant kinds of foods that you can eat that has a property of anti-inflammatory in there. So we'll talk about how they reduce inflammation.
And then from there, we're going to be also, making the noise about plant-based diet. What are some of the other key nutrients in a plant diet that we can point to, so that we can convince you that if you see somebody eating spinach salad or whatever salad it's every day, that's what you're eating. It's not that they don't have appetite. It's because of those nutrients. So we're going to mention some of those good nutrients that are found mostly in plants. You may find them in trace amounts in other foods, but in the plants, that's where they all are. And we're going to mention those of nutrients that are usually found in plants. And after that, we'll do other considerations. What's the caveat of eating only plant diet? You may have to eat certain things to supplement what you cannot get from the plants. And so for those of you who are watching who want to just strictly go, without anything else, just plant-based, that last slide is definitely something you have to wait for, so that you will supplement on the things that you will be missing out just because you are fully plant-based diets. All right.
I think we missed the third one, which are how plant-based diets can lower or improve blood pressure.
Oh, come on, man. We missed that one. So plant-based diet helping you to improve your diet, and improve your blood pressure. So it lowers your cholesterol, helps with reducing inflammation, and then ultimately also helps with improving your blood pressure and all the other good stuff that we're going to be talking about. So with that being said, we're going to start off with the number one. I think we're going in that order. Let me just make sure. Yes, the first one that we're going to be talking about is lowering cholesterol, lowering plant-based diet. One reason why they are healthy and good and beneficial for your heart and brain, protecting you against heart attacks and strokes, is that they help lower cholesterol. And I'm going to have you want to start first.
Yes, so it lowered the bad cholesterol, right? So, what are the sources of foods that when you eat, it lowers the bad cholesterol? We have high fiber content foods. So, foods such as fruits, vegetables, whole grains, legumes, nuts, seeds that are rich in dietary fiber or help lower the bad cholesterol. The way that it works is that the fiber in the foods absorbed the cholesterol particles
It
in your
binds to them,
system.
right?
It binds to them, it attaches itself to them and move them out of your system. So eating a high fiber food content definitely helps lower the bad cholesterol. So you won't go wrong with like eating more fruits, you know, cutting down on starches and eating more fruits, more vegetables. And when you are doing the starch, you go for the whole grains, the legumes and stuff like that. That definitely help lower the bad cholesterol.
Definitely, definitely. So plant-based diet. So she said fruits, but we all know that fruits are from plants. And we are talking about unprocessed foods. If you buy fruits that have been canned and preserved, you are losing a lot of the benefits. You still get something. Some of the
Right.
fiber will still be there, but they would have added a lot of salt and other
Sugar.
preservatives, sugar, and so you will basically lose some of the benefits. But if you are eating the fruit whole, fresh from the produce aisle or from the farm, you wash it yourself, you clean it yourself, cut it up and make it into whatever else you are making it into. That's where you get the most benefit. You get all the fiber, the soluble fiber in particular, will bind to your cholesterol in your gut and make sure that they are all cleaned out. The LDL, the bad cholesterol itself. And also, studies have shown that fiber, people who eat high fiber diet or a fiber rich diet, which is all from plants, they reduce their bad cholesterol levels by about 5 to 10%. That is why, some brands like Cheerios and other, oatmeal and other people, they advertise and say that when you eat, you reduce your cholesterol. It is a proven fact by studies supporting that when you are eating a lot of fiber, all of which come from these plant sources, you are definitely going to reduce your cholesterol level. So that is why we should emphasize the benefit of a plant-based diet, cholesterol lowering. All right. Have anything else to add?
Yeah, so like I know the medications, the statins, and some other medications that we take to lower bad cholesterol reduce the level up to what, 35% or so? Just your
That's
diet.
the really good ones. That's
Yeah,
the
the
best
good
ones, right?
ones.
Here.
Yeah, so just your diet can bring it down as low as 5 to 10%, which is really a big deal. So just basing or incorporating fiber-based food, high fiber content food, definitely bring down your cholesterol. So in order to prevent stroke and heart diseases, let's try and include such diets, such things in our diet.
Definitely, definitely. Definitely, let's include such diets, fruits, vegetables, and greens. We're going to go into more specifics as we move forward, but that's definitely one thing that we have to mention. The other thing is healthy fats. Plant based diets can give you healthy fats if you are conscious of using oils and fats that are from plants, not processed oils, then you are going to eventually do away with all those saturated fats that are found in elsewhere. Animal fat is going to be less if you are not using animal or you're not eating meat or you are cutting back on meat. I got to be careful because some people love their meat, right? If you are not going to be, increasing your meat and poultry intake, but you're going to cut back and replace it with more plant sources, then you're going to take in less saturated fats. And then, if you're not also going to be eating all these pastries and stuff that are made, you're also going to cut back on trans fats, cakes and stuff. You're going to cut back on trans fats. So, by virtue of just sticking to plant-based diet, you are neglecting all those oils that could potentially increase your cholesterol levels and cause atherosclerosis or building plaques in your arteries. which will eventually lead to strokes and heart attacks. And that is one reason. I have Gift, you can tell us some of the other sources of plant-based oils and
Yeah.
fats. Yeah.
So you were talking about saturated fats. So it's known that the fats from plants have what? Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. So those fats are not like trans fats. They are healthy fats that you need, and that if you keep taking such a product, it increases the good cholesterol. Now you are lowering the bad cholesterol with the grains and the fruits and the vegetables that we talk about. But because you are also taking the healthy or the good oil from plants, you are increasing the good cholesterol. So if you do just these two, you lower the bad cholesterol and increase the good cholesterol. So some of the examples of polyunsaturated fats and monosaturated fats can be found in avocados, right? Avocados. I think you love avocados.
Yes.
And we have the seeds, we have the nuts, and we have olive oil. So those are the sources of good fat that we can include in our diet.
Come on, man. And all these are found in ODA plants, right? All these are rich sources that you can find in plants. And olive oil, some studies have actually shown that people who even drink a tablespoon of oil, or I think two tablespoons of oil, olive oil a day, have better heart outcomes. Some of them increase their HDL and all those other things. But that's not a point we are trying to make. The point is that healthy fats and oils from plants would definitely lead to a higher levels of good cholesterol, which is the HDL, and also reduce the bad cholesterol levels so that your life will be better. You will reduce your risk of having heart attacks and stroke, which is all we're about, just making sure that you do not suffer any of those things. And I think there's research also that supports that, right? Research says that consuming nuts have the healthy fats regularly has been associated with significant reduction in LDL cholesterol levels. LDL being the bad cholesterol level. So if you are somebody who want to jump on nuts here and there, mind you, not those that have been juiced up with too much salt and other additives, but plain nuts. Like, let's give some of the nuts. I love to create examples.
Yeah, so I think we have the walnuts.
We have the walnuts, which we like. I love walnuts. And another one that
we have the pistachios.
We got the pistachios.
We have the almonds.
We have almonds.
Yeah, and the pecan, right?
The pecans, chia, and then seeds too. We can talk about chia seeds and flax seeds and all those good stuff. All these things are healthy sources of, oils and even omega-3 fatty acids, which are definitely going to help with your heart health. And so that is the first one. I think with that being said, we are going to go to the next one, unless you have anything else to add. So the next one is improving plant-based diet improves your blood pressure. That is one thing that we have also come to know, and it is backed by science. So if your diet is consistently, rich with plant sources, you are eventually going to reduce your blood pressure levels. And we're just going to go with 2 points here, and then we will go. We want to start there?
Yeah, so what are some of the foods that can help lower your blood pressure? We have bananas, potatoes, we have spinach, the one that is showing, we have beans that are also high in potassium. So the reason why we are saying that those are good to lower blood pressure is that if you increase your potassium intake, you excrete more of sodium. And we know that sodium retains fluids in your system, and that in turn increases your blood pressure. So if you are getting rid of sodium because you're taking more potassium, then that way you are lowering your blood pressure. So taking such foods that are rich in potassium definitely help.
Definitely. Very rich sources of potassium foods, which are found in plants. We are not telling you to go and take potassium supplements. Those can be good, but they could also be dangerous because you don't know how much is poisonous. But if you are eating food or plant-based diet, which is rich in potassium, your body will take what it wants and the rest will go out. That's the beauty of eating for health. Your body will just pick up what it wants and the rest will be excreted. But if you take sources that are unnatural, you are forcing it to pick it up and it becomes more of a harm. And you don't want to have too much potassium by taking potassium supplements, because you heard us saying that potassium will give you better blood pressure. We want you to eat the foods that are rich in potassium so that your body will take the potassium up. That's the best way. Come on, man. That's what is important. So definitely increase your intake of foods that are like the potatoes. Unless you are diabetic, you just have to be careful because of the sugar content that may convert to glucose. So apart from that, potatoes will be all right unless you take it too much. And then spinach, as she mentioned, and beans. Those are easy sources.
Plantain, right?
And even plantains,
And bananas.
bananas, all those have potassium. But again, just don't overdo it, because we said that. Just do it. Make those your sources of food. Alternating them maybe days here and there. You will get a better option in reducing your blood pressure. And I think there is research that also backs that, right?
Yeah. So there is a research that shows that higher potassium intake is linked to lower blood pressure levels.
My God. Potassium intake in your diet is linked to lower blood pressure levels. As a matter of fact, if you are, if you're hypertensive right now and you begin to increase your sources of potassium intake, maybe substitute your sodium salt with potassium salt, you may reduce your blood pressure by that. But what a beauty if you eat spinach that is turning on our screen. Just eating a bowl of spinach or using spinach for salads. You know how I do my spinach sometimes? I don't like it really cooked. I do it in my smoothie. After my exercise, I blend a couple of berries with my spinach and my protein powder, and that's good. You get everything, because especially when you blend it, you reduce it so much that your body can pick it up. And so that is how I get it, because like some of you, I don't want to eat salad all the time. So if I put it in a smoothie, I get a green smoothie, I'm good. So those are tricks for increasing your intake of such things, and your potassium levels will go up, and you reduce your sodium, thereby increasing your decreasing your blood pressure levels. And yeah.
Should we continue?
Yeah.
Yeah, and also it's been known that plant foods naturally have low sodium. So if you take plant source of foods, definitely you are lowering your sodium. As compared to the meat other sources, when you're cooking, you add all these extras, spices and the salt and all that. That definitely increases the sodium. But if you go for plants, it's likely that you are not going to increase your sodium level. And also, reducing sodium intake can also help, as we said, lower your blood pressure levels.
Reducing sodium intake. There's a double whammy, right? You are eating more plants. The plants are increasing your potassium levels. And then, because you're eating more plants, you're also eating less sodium, because you're not eating the starchy foods that you have to add a lot of salt to make it tasty. You're not eating all those junk that is bought on the shelf that has a lot of salt in it. You are eating your salads, your broccolis, your all those good stuff that you can make from your potato, your baked potatoes, your big sweet potatoes and stuff. And because you're eating those, you're taking in less sodium. So it's a win-win situation when it comes to a plant-based diet for your heart health, especially in this case, reducing your blood pressure levels. And the studies, I don't know if we said reducing, did you mention the study? The studies also show that reducing sodium intake is one of the most effective dietary changes for lowering blood pressure. Oh, come on, man. So if you have been fighting hypertension for a long time, this is a trick. Cut back salt. Cut back salt. And one way of doing that is to eat more plant-based diet, which you don't add a lot of salt. Right. Unless you bring your tongue, which is salted, into that. Some people have some people have a salty tongue. Whatever you give them, they will add salt. It doesn't matter what food, they will have to add salt. Then you have to change your lifestyle and cut back on the salt so that when you eat plant-based food, you won't have to add too much salt to it. Some people will eat a salad, but the salad is full of this sweet and salty dressing,
Oh, dressing.
which defeats the purpose of eating the plant. So make sure that if you are actually going to sacrifice your juicy steak for a salad, then make sure that it's not also salty, because then it defeats the purpose. Come on, man, I like that.
With the broccoli, if you cook it, just a little bit of salt sprinkle on it, bring out the taste. So you don't need a lot of sodium to make it tasty. So give it a try. You don't have to.
Right?
You steam it. You steam it, and just a little sprinkle of salt bring out the taste and become very tasty.
And the thing that I like about how we do it too is the fact that you add this sweet, it's a dried cranberries and stuff.
Yeah.
Even in a salad with the nuts on top of the salad with dried cranberries, which are sweet, dried cranberries, and also fiber too. When you add it to it, you get some sweetness to it. So even if you are like, it tastes bad, just add dried cranberries to it and some nuts that you like. Your pecan nuts, your pecans and your almonds and a little bit of dried cranberries to your salad. Mix it, and it's all good. My daughter had a salad today, which we call the strawberry pecan salad. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, we went to the restaurant. That's the salad she got. And I've had that salad multiple times because it's not like something that you're sacrificing. It's really tasty.
Right.
And all they've done to make it tasty is that along with the greens, they have cut strawberries and added onto it. And then you've added also pecans. And so it becomes a rich bowl of salad. Tasty too because of the sweetness of the strawberry that you have and the pecans that are on top of the salad. So you just have to be creative in making those things. Don't tell or admit that those plant-based foods are not sweet.
Good.
If you say it not taste good, it means you don't know how to cook. Come on, man.
Yeah, and also some people have grown up eating a lot of sodium, a lot of salt, to the point that if they don't taste it, they feel like the food doesn't taste good. So as we are encouraging, just cut back. If you come back, too much, just slowly and try to reduce, because studies have shown that if you lower the sodium intake, definitely your blood pressure goes down. So try and cut back. And the more you cut back, you realize that you don't need that extra sodium to make food tasty.
Definitely. Come on, man. I like that. All right. So I think this is a good time to go to the next slide, right? All right. So the next slide, the next point we're going to talk about is plant-based diets also are implicated in reducing inflammation. Come on, man. Inflammation. When you eat plant-based foods, inflammation in you goes down. Now, when we talk about inflammation, it encompasses a lot of things. It encompasses a lot of things. Inflammation is involved in a lot of disease states. A lot of disease states. Every disease has an inflammatory process, I should say. And so if you can calm down inflammation in you, you're going to be overall healthy. But in this case, we're talking about heart health and brain health, protecting you against heart disease and strokes. And so plant-based diet has been implicated in reducing inflammation. And the reason is that they have phytochemicals, or plant-based diets are abundant in antioxidants, which are the ones that fight off inflammation. As easy as that, right? And so if you begin to include such sources of plant-based foods in your daily or at least multi-weekly, I don't know how to say, bi-weekly or 3 times a week diet, the least, and it's consistent, you are still going to get a benefit of anti-inflammation. And before I let Gifty say some of the examples of the sources of foods that will give you anti-inflammatory properties, I just want to say inflammation is the leading cause of atherosclerosis. When you have built up of plaques in your arteries, the first thing that makes that happen is inflammation. Because your body is inflamed, your arteries become compromised, and plaques begin to form. And when plaques form, and as we always say, all you need for a clot to form is a plaque breaking off. And maybe one day when your heart beats and pressure just hits on the plaque and it breaks off, that is a disaster right there, because a clot is going to form, and God knows where that clot can go to. Your heart to cause a stroke, or your brains to cause a stroke, or your heart to cause a heart attack. And even if nothing, breaks off, you're eventually going to have cardiovascular issues in the future down the line. And so inflammation in your arteries is not a good thing. So Gifty, tell us, what are some of the food sources in
So
plants?
some of the foods I think we're showing on the screen, the berries.
Berries.
I see the blackberries, the strawberries, the
green-
blueberries,
Blueberries.
and all the berries out there that has a high source of antioxidants, and the phytochemicals that we are talking about. So if you consume such berries, all the berries around, definitely you are going to get that benefit. And we also have the leafy greens. We also have the nuts, seeds are also very beneficial if we include that in our diets.
Definitely. So the green leaves, if you don't like these and yours is just the greens, you are still going to get a benefit of anti-inflammation because of the phytochemicals. Some of these also contain polyphenols, which are also eventually going to be antioxidants. So definitely include these in your diet. Whether it's your breakfast, whether it's your lunch, wherever you can include them. Be creative. You have blueberries, you have strawberries, you have blackberries, whatever berries that you have in your area. You have to be creative.
If it's
raspberries too. You have to be creative. Just add a little bit in your smoothie or in your oatmeal that you make in the morning. Imagine having blueberries or even strawberries in your oatmeal. You are getting something. The more there is color in your food, the better you are. And so increase the color, the variety of colors in your food from plant sources. I'm not talking about color dyes and stuff. Come on, man. I don't want you to go and say that, if the color is good, then yeah. But I know what I mean. I'm just trying to be jovial here. Definitely the colors in your food, apples, oranges, and of course these berries and the greens are full of all these phytochemicals that will help you overcome any inflammation that you'll be
being
doing.
creative. You can also add these berries to your low-fat yogurts.
Come on, man.
Like yogurts, including that. Yep.
Can you add this also to your ice cream?
Ice cream. What kind of ice cream? Is it like the low sugar ice cream?
I don't know. Ice cream is ice cream to me. You think low sugar ice cream is good?
No, I don't. But if you're diabetic, if you're not diabetic, I think you can get away with it. If you are diabetic, and some people use this stuff to make ice cream, instead of using the creamy and more high content calories, they can blend it and add few things together and put it in the freezer, and you can eat it just like a healthy ice cream. So it shouldn't be that kind of ice cream that we know of.
A healthy one. You got to make your own
You can
healthy
make
ice cream.
your own ice cream.
Come on, man. Make your own healthy ice cream. We probably should research that and bring the recipe online for you to see how to make a healthy ice cream, because it's hard to tell people don't eat ice cream, especially in this heat right now, right?
It's too hard.
I mean, we are not that hard. Once a month of ice cream is fine. If you're doing everything else good all the time and once a month, come on, I'll give you that break. Just in the summer, right? Yeah, but the key that we are trying to make here is that be creative.
Right.
Because if it's going to taste good, you will have to be creative. You can't expect your plant-based diet to be very creative. I mean, to be very tasty. When you do one thing all the time, you have to be creative, mix things together. And the key is to make the colors change. If the color is changing, you are increasing the variety of the nutrients, and also you're also going to get a taste because all those colors have some sweetness to them. Of course, some of them will be tart, and some of them will be bitter, but it's all part of it. It's going to make your tongue appreciate the sweet ones when you eat them. So be creative, and let's this summer let's make sure that we are pounding on the plant-based diet to improve our health and our brain health. Definitely. All right. I think we have, of course, research has also said that diets high in antioxidants and anti-inflammatory compounds are linked to lower levels of chronic inflammatory disease or chronic inflammation. All those inflammatory diseases, even in arthritis, apart from the heart problem that we're talking about, if your diet is composed of some of these things all the time, you won't have knee pain all the time. You have all those joint pain, joint aches every day. There's something because of your anti-inflammatory system, because you have a lot of anti-inflammation going on to sort of reduce some of the things that everybody else would be having. So I think that's good, right? All right. So, and the next thing, I think this one was the first point just for inflammation. All right. Plant-based diet, reducing inflammation. So the next point to talk about for plant-based diet, reducing inflammation is what we call omega-3 fatty acids, right? Plant-based diets contain omega-3 fatty acids, which are also often associated with fish, and they are also found in plants. Omega-3 fatty acids are found in plants, and the very sources we mentioned earlier: flax seeds, the chia seeds, the walnuts, the omega-3s, and omega-6. They are all found in there. If you have a rich source of diet with including the chia seeds, all the seeds, you don't have to memorize them. All the seeds and nuts, or the oily ones, you definitely have high sources of omega-3 fatty acids, which are also known to be anti-inflammatory. So it will reduce the incidence of heart problems and stroke, as we are talking about.
Yeah, so if you don't like fish, I know some people don't like taking fish or the smell of it. You can substitute it with your flax seeds and your chia seeds and your walnut, and you definitely will get the omega-3 fatty acids, which is anti-inflammatory.
Definitely. And that's we are promoting plant-based diets. But if you like fish, that's okay. But if you cannot, since we are always promoting fish, this is your chance. So you don't want fish. Okay, still don't eat your meats like you do. Just eat nuts.
I think I've read it too.
Oh, some nuts are tasty. Some nuts are really tasty. Of course, if you could do your salmon, trust me, it will be good. It will be good. But if you cannot, and that's what you got, then just include the nuts.
Yeah, so with the nuts, the chia seeds and the flax seeds, sometimes I think I add the flax seeds to my smoothie when I have it. So you can incorporate that in your smoothie. You blend it together, you eat it, you're fine. With the chia seeds, you can also add it to your salads. So you have to be creative.
You can even add it to smoothies too.
To
right?
smoothies too, yeah. So you can blend it with it, and it's easier to swallow. Sometimes it doesn't blend that well, so but at least you're having it in your system and you're getting the benefits.
And you can also add it to your oatmeal, your breakfast.
Right.
Whether it's an oatmeal you're eating or porridge or whatever, you can pour it in. Back in the day, we ate porridge with peanuts, right?
Right.
Or Gary soakings with peanuts. Oh, come on, man.
With a lot of sugar.
With a lot of sugar. But the key is be creative. Add them now. Whatever you are eating, add the plant sources and enjoy the benefits for your health. All right.
And research have shown that increased intake of omega-3 fatty acids is associated with lower levels of inflammation and a reduced risk of heart disease.
Come on, man. Plant-based diet for you. That's plant-based diet for you. So I think from here, there's a lot more benefits from a plant-based diet, but we also want to use some time to talk about some of the ingredients, some of the nutrients that you have. We have been, hammering on the things that you benefit towards your heart and your brain to protect you against strokes and heart disease. But additionally, we can talk about weight gain and weight management. If your diet is consistently made of plant sources, you are going to manage your weight. It's easier to manage or lose your weight than somebody who is constantly eating the starchy foods or the meat or the other sources, processed foods. If your diet is consistently including greens, nuts, seeds, fruits, and vegetables, your weight management will be easier for you than somebody who is not including those sources. And of course, we want to talk about the research.
Yeah, so studies have also shown that people who follow plant-based diets, often have lower body mass index, like your BMI is lowered because you prominently depend on plant-based diet. So that can be a consideration. People that we are struggling with our weight, we can consider or maybe increase the amount of plants that we consume as compared to being more starchy foods and meat, right?
Definitely. Definitely. All right, so we're going to go to the next one. And the next one, now we're going to be talking about some of the key ingredients in a plant-based diet. So that it's not just for heart health. So if you are thinking about anything else, or if you are unsure about the ingredients, about eating plant-based diet, then you will be convinced after this. But before we go on, I think we have a couple of likes on the live, and we just want to put it on the live right now. First one, I see here my own big brother, Pastor Paul Asante Yeboah is giving us stars. Oh, come on, man.
Yes, stars today.
We have stars today. My goodness. That's the first number of stars in a long time. Thank you, Apostle. Thank you. All right. Oh man! And then we have Mrs. Rosemary Asante Yeboah also on the live saying that blessings to you both. Thanks for the positive lifestyle changes provided. Thank you so much. Thank you for the encouragement. These are some of the reasons why we come live, even when it's hectic for our schedule. And we are thankful for those positive words and support from you as a couple. We can't do this without your support. And I think we have a question from the Rev. The Rev says that, what can I consume with kenke? Oh, I like that. Okay. That's a good question. Kenke, for those of you who may not know, kenke is basically a dough of corn that is made and used, whether we eat it with a stew or sauce or soup and stuff like that. A hot pepper, a chili, I wish I had enough time to bring you a picture so that those who don't know would know, right? It's a really good meal. It's a good meal if you like it. But the reverse question is, what can you eat with it in terms of the greens to balance it out? The key, I'm going to start. The key is that, first of all, we have to look for sources that have less salt. A lot of the kinkies out there have too much salt. And the reason is they're trying to preserve it so that it will last for a long time. Because if there's a lot of salt, then it won't go bad soon. Even if you don't put it in the fridge, it will still stay there like a rock. Why? Because I know, because I buy some sometimes, right? But the key is buy from sources that have less salt. Otherwise, if there's so much salt, then you defeat the purpose right from the onset. Even if you add a lot of good stuff to it, you are still increasing the salt intake. So that is the key. And the best way is to have made it yourself, which is not easy to do. I don't want to put a sofa mommy into trouble.
It's easy, right?
It's not easy to make. I tell you all that they go through to make it ready. But if you buy from a source and you can, determine this brand has less salt, then that's good. Or even better still, maybe eat half at a time instead of eating the whole ball. Eat a half, because if it's so much salt and you're eating half, you are cutting the salt into two, one for another time. But the idea is the salt, and then after that, as far as adding, and that's a good food that he brought up. It's a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact that of the salt, kinky by itself is corn dough. It's completely from
Whole grain.
whole grain. The only problem is the processing that they do. They process it so bad. Otherwise, the fermentation and the fact that it's a corn dough, it's whole grain, and it would have been good. Though it's not whole anymore because it's been milled, right? So it's a plant-based diet. If it wasn't the processing that destroys the wholeness and the salt additives. Yes, back to your question. The question is, what can I add to it? And I would suggest that if you eat your half kinky, first of all, in order to even be able to eat half,
Before.
I would start with a bowl of salad. Like my example that I gave, the strawberry pecan salad. You eat a bowl of a strawberry pecan salad. Trust me, you may not even reach for the kinky anymore if it's good, amount. But if after that you want to top it up with anything that will fill you more, then a half bowl of kinky will do just that. And the half bowl, like Gifty usually does, your hot peppers, with the tomatoes and onions, mashed together, and maybe a tilapia fish, or a salmon. It doesn't have to be whole, piece or a fillet, on the side. That, oh, come on, man, you making me hungry, right? That will make for a good dinner or lunch or whatever it is. I think that's how I will approach it. Just make sure that you reduce the portion and also get a sauce that is less salty, and then add your fish and your tomato and pepper to it. If you are not a fish and tomato or a hot pepper person, you could do any kind of soup with it. But again, start off with a bowl of salad. Would you have anything to add?
Yeah, so I think if you also want to look at it this way, that the main meal is your fish or is your tilapia, and the kinky is just the side.
Oh, come on, man. Kinky on the side.
So if you take it that way, then it means that you are not just eating the kinky. Like you said, you start with your salad and you have your half tilapia. That is big enough to fill you. Then on the side, you can go for half or quarter of the kinky. So in so doing, you have reduced the side. Like we order food, right? You want salmon or you want chicken. Then they'll ask you, what side do you want? So because of the way that we've been brought up, we feel like kinky is the main meal. Then the fish and the greens are just the side. But let's rethink the way that we consume. The main meal is the fish, then kinky is the side. So if it's a side, it's not going to be a whole bowl of it. It's going to be just something small to beside it to top it up.
That is another good one. That's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. So see, that is as the side of the meal, not the main meal, which is really a good point because we always look at it the other way. But from now on, we're going to do it that way. All right. So we can move on to the next one. And the next one is the ingredient or the nutrient in the plant-based diet called fiber. And fiber, as you know, it's very important, very, very important for a lot of things that we can talk about. Fiber, as we said earlier on, binds with your cholesterol in the gut, bad cholesterol in the gut, and you excrete it. Fiber makes you regular so that you don't get constipated. Fiber keeps your blood sugars down. Because of fiber, it prevents all the sugars that are in your food from being absorbed. So
it
fiber
makes you more full.
It makes you more full. You want to continue that?
Yeah. So when you eat a lot rich source of fiber, You drink your water and it fills you up, and you can stay long like without feeling hungry because you've consumed a lot of fiber. And the fiber, when you drink the water, it blows up and it fills you up.
So you're not hungry
So
all
you're
the
not
time.
hungry. You're not craving for more foods because the source have been fiber. Yes.
And that's something that I have experienced firsthand. As I always say, sometimes I have nuts for lunch and I'm never hungry. All I ate was almonds and a few pistachios and my red dried
Cranberry.
cranberries, and I'm not hungry. But before that, when you talk about lunch, I want to go and sit down and eat your bowl of rice with a piece of chicken on it. you know but that's not that's no more the case because fiber. And I'm not saying everybody can eat nuts that way. You can eat a salad and still have the fiber. All those are, well, let's use this to talk about the sources of fiber. So we're talking about fruits are fibrous. Whether you eat an apple, you have a fiber, soluble fiber in an apple, or a couple of apples if one won't fill you. Vegetables that we can also talk about, any kind of vegetables, green veggies, and then of course the whole grains that we're talking about, and then legumes, the beans and the nuts and the seeds that I've already mentioned. All those are rich sources of fiber. Remember, they are all plant-based. So it's not like we are only talking about green. So if you don't like greens, like you're off. No, you can also still be plant-based person. You just have to have, the balance of all the other things in you. So yes, one good nutrient from plant-based diet is fiber.
Yeah, so we can incorporate that class of foods as one of our meal for the day. So you're talking about fruits, right? So instead of going to sit down for a whole lunch, just fruit for lunch, or just vegetables for lunch, or just something, the nuts that you're talking about. So we have to be conscious about how we go about it. It's not like all the starchy foods. I think that's how we've been brought up. I can't stress that enough. I'm kind of sometimes I have to struggle to really incorporate such foods in my diet because the rice is readily available. You open the fridge, maybe your jollof is already cooked. So the temptation of you just warming your jollof rice and sitting down and eat is so high, right? But if you're going to be conscious about what to eat every day, you have to be intentional that, okay,
Come on, that's the key.
intentional, yeah, and just change the way that we do things, and that would definitely help.
All right. And I think we mentioned that fiber also make you full, right?
Right,
And it has
benefits.
okay. The next one, let's see what we got for the next one is vitamin C. Plant-based diets are also full sources of vitamin C. If you are always eating foods that are rich in plants or naturally from plant sources, you are going to have vitamin C levels going up. And vitamin C, some of the importance of vitamin C is that your immune system goes up. And vitamin C supports collagen production, your cell integrity. So everything becomes perfect if you are, eating plant-based diets. And I'll let Gifty mention some of the other sources.
I think the very common one is the citrus fruits, right?
Citrus fruits, yeah.
The oranges, the lemons, the grapefruits, those are all sources of vitamin C. And we also have the strawberries, bell peppers, as we're showing, broccoli, Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprouts. You like Brussels sprouts.
I do.
I can't stand it, but she likes it, so we eat it.
Yeah, so we can see that it enhances, well, iron absorption, and it acts as an antioxidant. So eating vitamin C is definitely a good thing. So as we are mentioning the fruits and the vegetables and the sources of foods, see where you can incorporate those foods in your daily diet. It's not just learning them, but try and see where you can fit
We can fit them.
that we are talking about. So because my friend has shown me that the water that we drink, instead of just drinking it plain, she will put the fresh lemon, every day in the cup or in the bottle.
You mean she cuts it, right?
She cut it.
Don't put a ball.
You cut a slice and put it in your water. So if you do that, you are increasing your source of vitamin C, and we know that can boost your immune system.
Oh, come on, man. That will boost your immune system. It's an antioxidant also, scavenging any particulate matter that could cause disease. All right, so we can move on to the next one. So the next one is what we call vitamin A. Vitamin A. And vitamin A is also in the form of beta carotene. That's what we call it. And vitamin A also found in carrots, sweet potatoes, spinach, kale, butternut squash, apricots, and the rest. Vitamin A is another good source of vitamin that everybody needs. For your vision, at least, we all know this from high school, right? You need good amounts of vitamin A to have good sight. And so, plant sources of food is not just for your heart. For the benefit of vitamin A only, you should be eating plant sources of food. And some of these sources are the ones that we have mentioned. You want to say?
Yeah, and it's also help with your immune system, right?
Also helps
and
with
your
your
skin
immune
health.
integrity. Yeah.
So if you keep having skin conditions and just increase the intake of vitamin A. And I think the picture that we are showing is the
Is that a butternut squash?
butternut
Oh,
squash.
come on, man. And again, you have to be creative. You know, I don't know if this person is going to eat it raw, but I've seen you make butternut squash meals where you cut it up like little cubes. You know, they even sell it like that, little frozen cubes in the fridge
Yeah.
that you add to your salmon salad or whatever when you're baking it. Yes, salmon, or should you say salad? Whenever you bake a salmon, you have, you know, butternut squash. It's kind of going to replace those of us who are always eating yam and plantains. This will be your yam. But the good thing is the rich sources of nutrients that are in there, you know. So you cut it up and then you cook it just a little bit, or you bake it along with your fish or whatever then you are eating it with, and you have a whole meal.
And
so
it tastes so
it
good.
tastes
and
wonderful.
It fills you.
Oh, come on. It also has all the fibers. It's natural. So this person bought it, a full one, and cut it and did it like that. So I mean, sometimes we'll be like, but they are going to be expensive. They're not that expensive. And even if they're expensive, at least mom and dad whose ages are going up, those can eat that and still give maybe the yam to the little ones who still have room to improve. But if we can afford it for the whole family, even better. But if your age is up there, you are the one that want to definitely make sure that you are eating some of these things for your food. We can go forward, right? All right. So the next one, the next benefit, the next nutrient from plant sources is what we call folate or folic acid. And we also have tons of other sources of folic acid or folate. Some of the things you have eaten or you'll be eating for vitamin C may still be here. So it's a win-win. Come on, man. You eat one thing and you get everything in there. You know? But the picture we are showing is what? Beans and lentils and some other things, legumes that we are showing. But the other sources could also be green leafy vegetables. It could still be spinach. You could get folate from spinach. You could get a folate from kale. You could get it from the beans we are showing. And you could get it from nuts and seeds. Even asparagus and avocado. My brother avocado. You could get it from avocados too. So definitely let's have these on our menu.
Especially if you're pregnant, right?
If you're pregnant.
So folate is vitamin B9 and it's found in the leafy greens that we've mentioned, and that definitely help repair the during pregnancy, right? The neural tube deficits in children. So it's being encouraged for pregnant women and all those who are trying to be pregnant. Increase the source of leafy greens, legumes, lentils, nuts, and stuff like that.
And for the rest of us, it helps, repair, DNAs that are damaged. It helps in cell replication when your cells are dividing. Even in blood cell production, you need folate or folic acid for all that. And we buy it on the shelf to take as extra. But if you eat these, you may not need it if you eat them enough. You may not need the prescription sources. All right, so we're going to the next one. And the next one, we group them together in the interest of time. And the plant sources and nutrients, we have vitamins E, K, and calcium. All these are also sourced from kale, spinach, switch broccolis, and Brussels sprouts, green beans, and all those greens that we're talking about. Again, so one class of food containing a bunch of others. If you are eating a processed food that is not plant-based, the best you get is one mineral or one vitamin from the food. Sometimes there's nothing in there because of the processing. But if you eat natural plant sources, look at how much you're getting from just one food.
So you can see a lot of the vitamins.
A lot of vitamins.
Yeah, we've mentioned the A, the C. Now we are mentioning the E,
and K,
the K,
and then even calcium too.
Yeah, all in the leafy greens, nuts, and avocados and all that. So you get a lot from plant-based diet. So people that we encourage, I think some doctors may recommend you to do multivitamins, right? Because you feel like you're not getting enough vitamin in your diet. If you're conscious about what you take, you may not need multivitamins because you get all these sources from the plants that we are talking about.
And vitamin K is implicated, or it's used is essential for blood clotting and bone health. So if you're eating these, you have those rich sources. Now the caveat is if you have a clotting condition, or if your blood clots so much for whatever reason, maybe you are even on a medication called warfarin, then when you're eating these greens, you have to let your doctor know.
Right.
It doesn't stop you from eating them, but if they know, they may adjust your medication to maybe a higher amount. That way you won't clot. So that is what you have to know. But apart from that, for the rest of us, you can eat as much as you want and you will be healthy. All right. And so those are the three that we group together.
Yeah, so vitamin, I think potassium, if you want to go.
No, potassium is on this one too.
Oh, okay.
So now we are going to the next one. The next group is potassium, magnesium, and zinc. Come on, man. And all these things are found in a plant-based diet. Plant-based diet. No other diet but plant-based diet. You are getting a good source of potassium and zinc and magnesium. And we're going to be talking about some of these things quickly and make sure we get out of your way. So yes, potassium sources.
We have the bananas,
which
potatoes.
Is everybody knows, right?
We have the plantains, sweet potatoes, spinach, back to avocados again, and the legumes. So we can get all that from
sweet potatoes. I like that it's in sweet potatoes because not everybody wants bananas. And plus, some people may be diabetic. They're watching your sugars. They were like, I don't want to eat a lot of bananas. So you can be creative again. Sweet potatoes and even regular potatoes too. As long as you don't overdo it, you're good. And if you are conscious about blood sugars, go for your spinach. You will get everything in there. Remember, we already got folate in there.
Right.
And we are getting vitamin K and everything in there. Right. And now we are getting potassium. One good food, spinach. And again, in a smoothie, in a soup, in a sauce, whatever you can make with it. And the avocados, which is my friend. Now, since I became friends with avocado, I never use butter on my bread. My bread is always buttered with avocados. Now, I don't even have time to butter it up. I just cut it up and push it on there, and I'm out. And so it's creamy and healthy. You cannot beat that.
It tastes good too.
It tastes good too, especially if you find good avocados on the market. They will be good. And so those are some of the sources. And of course, we also talk about magnesium, and we talk about zinc. And I think zinc sources are also the same. Leafy greens and nuts and seeds and whole grains. Also very important for you. And magnesium sources. Those are very important. Zinc sources, apart from, of course, because we are doing, we're not doing a plant, we're not doing animal sources. I was going to say oysters and all that, but we are doing plant sources. So zinc sources would be legumes, chickpeas, lentils, beans, nuts, seeds, and again, whole grains. So all these things are very important for you. And especially if you're a man, you need your good sources of zinc for your prostate health, and for you to be able to synthesize and make testosterone. So all those things, if you're eating those foods naturally, you will be getting all those things down for yourself. We already talked about a lot of the other things. Is there anything else you want to add? We can move forward.
We can move forward.
All right. So if we are going to move forward, then let's see the next one. So the next one that we are going to say is the special considerations. Because we are saying plant-based diet is what we encourage you to do. If you're going to go all the way and say that I'm not eating meat, I'm not eating any meat or any animal sources. Since I can get proteins, I can get all these vitamins in plants, that's what I'm going to do, which we want you to do. As a matter of fact, I've considered it. I told you, right? I've considered not even, going for animal
But you
sources.
love your fish, though.
But I love my salmon, and I love my eggs. My salmon and my eggs are preventing me from becoming a vegetarian. I would have, maybe I can be vegetarian minus those two, right? Yeah. And the reason we are bringing the special considerations is that these other ingredients or nutrients we are mentioning may not be abundant in a plant-based diet. And so in that case, you would have to eat a supplement. But if you are not fully vegetarian, you're going to get them obviously from the other sources of food that you eat. If you eat meat, you're going to get your vitamin B12. If you eat eggs, you're going to get your vitamin D's. But of course, if you are walking in the sun and staying in the sun, you are going to get your vitamin D, which means that you have to be more outdoors. And then iodine is also something that you're going to get. Omega-3, we already have sources in nuts, but they may not be enough. You may need to supplement because you don't eat eggs and you don't eat fish and all those. You may need to supplement with that one.
Did you mention the B12?
Yes, I mentioned B12. You need meat to get B12. So if you are not doing meat, then you have to supplement B12 from over the counter and you'll be fine. And plus, even people who are also eating meat and stuff, but if you are taking, since we are pharmacists, if you are taking a medication we call PPIs or something to prevent acid reflux, then you may need to supplement on your B12 because it prevents your B12 absorption. And so that is something you may need to take extra B12 on the shelf just because of the medication you are taking for your GERD or your acid reflux. Just talk to your doctor about it. All right. So I think we have another question here. It's a comment. It's an agreement. Okay, so yes. I like that. I'm happy I'm not alone in the salmon, right? That is another good one. So I think that should be all that we have to do on the slides. Let me see if there's anything. And then, yeah, so that's it. So questions, if there were any more questions, we have 6 thumbs up. And I'm pretty sure if you are watching and you like it, you will continue to do us a favor and add the thumbs up. Otherwise, we are going to wrap up right now and say that for those watching on TikTok, we ask you also to do, yes, I see some loves and some hearts right there. Thank you for that. Do the follow and share, and let's roll together. All right, and make sure you also join our YouTube channel at Dr. Oteng, DROTENG, where we have more videos on our health channel and the live shows, and you can see the past live shows too. All right, so implications for our heart and our brain health. For all that we have said, the key is that we want you to eat healthy because we don't want you to get a heart disease or heart attack, and we don't want you to get a stroke, something that is increasingly affecting young people. Women, I was surprised to know during the Mother's Day show that the number 1 killer of women is not breast cancer. It is heart disease, cardiovascular disease, stroke, and heart attacks. And so it may not be said much around. Everybody knows about breast cancer and all those things. But do you know that you are more likely, if you're a woman, to fall victim to a heart disease than those other things? So we actually want to encourage you to eat well, begin to add all these things that we have said on the live, and even more. And we'll come back with more ideas when we when we get a chance to show more. We also want to say that we are going on vacation for the next 3 weeks. So we may not be able to come every Sunday as a live, but we'll hang out and potentially do something if we can, depending on how we do over there. We're going to be traveling abroad. And without that, I don't know anything else that we can say. Do you have
Yeah.
any?
Yeah. So with that final comment too, I would add that we shouldn't think or feel like that's how we have been, so there is no way we can change. So just be intentional, be conscious about it, and try to make the changes. We are all trying to do that. Nobody is all up there. So if there is substitution you have to do, substitute what you eat with something else, and together we will all live healthy lives.
Oh, come on, man. We will all live healthy lives. All right. So with that being said, I think we can close up, right? And say, Beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. Thank you, and God bless.
Bless.